If you measure Reason Rally by its attendance numbers, it was a bit of a disappointment. Apparently, they were counting on something like 3 times the crowd, so a lot of people have taken to the interwebs to offer their opinions as to why the attendance wasn't quite that high. But rather than belabor the topic with yet more speculation, I want to emphasize that if you measure the rally by any other metric, it was a resounding success. If you measure it by how fired up the people were, how much fun they had, how good the speakers were, how angry the Christian trolls were, or learning how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a homophobic creationist, I would call it an overwhelming success.
Yeah, and if we're measuring by how well Gold Bond medicated powder is able to prevent inner thigh chafing while I walk around all day in the sun, it was no doubt a partial success. We'll call the first half a success. By the end, it was like my taint was eating a bag of Cheetos and an order of buffalo eggs. Good, but not great. But you get what I'm saying.
Here's an image. Get that in there right before you go to sleep tonight. I said it on Twitter, and I will say it again. If 20,000 people didn't come to Reason Rally because of a non-discrimination policy, the problem we have isn't attendance. We have bigger...
Clearly not.
Yeah, well, don't worry. That's not the problem we have either. Like 47 people didn't show up because of that. But anyway, so in an effort to underscore what Reason Rally got right and to make damn sure the whole trip is all kinds of tax deductible, we figured we'd spend a couple of minutes sharing the top 10 things that we learned this year at Reason Rally.
Number 10, we have amazing fucking listeners.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
This was my first time doing this, so having people walk up to me and say, like, I've heard all your shows was just incredibly, genuinely one of the most moving experiences I've ever had. And I cannot say how grateful
Absolutely.
I was for it. Also, nobody fucked me. What's the deal, people? It's fine. You know what? It's fine. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. It's just...
I certainly want to second that one, both the amazing listeners and the not fucking Eli part.
Yeah. Amazing listeners, and that's all you said.
No, I love this. Somebody thanked me on Facebook. They said, it's really cool how when you guys met your fans, you didn't just shake their hands and pause for a picture and move along. You really spent time with them. And as much as I'd like to take credit for being generous or whatever, we just have really interesting fans. Like,
Absolutely.
These are the conversations I would have wanted to get in even if these people had never heard of me.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And as much as I enjoy talking about epistemology with the guy ladling boiled peanuts into a huge bag at a gas station in Georgia, this was even better.
Yeah, that's true.
Great fans.
Been a bit of a dearth of good conversation of late. Okay, number 9. Bill and Susie are fucking hardcore.
Yes,
so
they are.
Damn right.
If you're newer to the show, Bill and Susie are two friends that did a podcast called The Barroom Atheist. Still holding out hope that they're going to fire it back up. And they've been on the show a couple of times before. So anyway, on their way to the rally, they got into an accident, totaled their car, got carved out of it by the jaws of life, got treated and released at a nearby hospital, and then caught a train to D.C. and still did the fucking Reason Rally. Probably meaningless to most of our audience, but fuck if they don't at least deserve a shout-out for that one.
Absolutely. Badass. Strongly endorse the shout out to Bill and Susie, and especially because I was way too hungover to make it for breakfast with them on Saturday morning like we had planned. So many apologies. Would have liked to be there.
You were missed.
Hey, where's Heath? Oh, he's around. He's around. Where? Oh, he's around. He's around.
Sleeping it off. At number 8. I learned that the street signs in Washington, D.C. were designed by the Mad Hatter, apparently.
Weren't they?
Because
Yeah.
the entire traffic and parking situation is asinine there. Especially the sign that says very clearly, no parking, P with a slash through it, and has a picture of a car very clearly getting towed by a tow truck. And that sign, as we learned, apparently means... yeah, you can totally park here, and we wouldn't even think about towing you away like in this picture. What the fuck are you guys doing?
There was just this genuinely fantastic moment where Noah and Heath had just arrived. They'd been driving for 11 hours, and I thought Noah was going to kill the guy at our hotel. Like, I saw the pros and cons list of killing a man forming in his head. I just saw him being like, all right, well, that guy's going to jump on me, but I can take him too.
No, wait, specifically, which time are you talking about?
Number 7. Meeting other podcasters was incredible. Getting hugs from Callie and Ari over at Gaytheist Manifesto, Jeremiah and Bobby C. and Ashley. But speaking of Bobby C. and Ashley, by the way, nobody in the world has a right to be racist because Bobby C. looks like he should be forcing you to marry a truck at gunpoint. And Ashley looks like his goddamn sister wife, and they are the two smart... Look at a picture of them. They are the two smartest, most gentle, thoughtful people I could possibly imagine me. I mean, I watched Ashley just have this incredibly elegant, like, destructive conversation with these protesters. My point is, nobody has the excuse to pretend there's too many genders or they don't understand the atheist arguments, okay?
Although if you can't decipher Miss Ashley's accent or remember her name when you're on her podcast, that is totally forgivable.
The woman says the word Jew with 4 syllables. That is my defense.
She really genuinely does. G-E-was. Okay, so number 6. If you look super carefully, you can see Eli's erection slowly grow as Christian protesters get more and more confused.
Slowly?
It's relative.
I guess
it's
yeah,
relative.
Okay.
I mean, look, you're hearing the clips of the audio throughout the show, and I kind of feel like you can hear his erection. But just in case you needed a visual, every time you hear a baffled in those clips, just imagine an extra ½ inch in Eli's pup tent.
Yeah. Hey, just because nobody fucked me didn't mean I didn't spend most of Saturday fucking Christians.
That's right.
How do so many of them not know the Bible? So many people were fucking stumped by mustard seed. I feel like you square that shit before you have signs made at Staples, right? That's just me, right? You read
I think
the
you're
whole
overestimating the quality of their signs. I mean, honestly, by the end of the conversation with the Monster Energy drink lady, Eli was just wiping shit off of her face with his cock. It's amazing.
Yeah, she was too. At number 5, in reference to the non-discrimination policy that Eli mentioned earlier, I learned that even without all the hateful slurs and Disney Crow impressions that we all like to use at big political gatherings, it was still fun for the whole crowd. I feel like we all managed to communicate somehow, and everyone seemed to enjoy being infantilized. I know I did. I think it was great. I think everybody had a good time.
4. Okay, one more thing about the Christian protesters. They were not ready. I mean, not ready. Because, like, here's the thing. These Christian protesters, they always do this, right? Every time anyone marches on Washington, gay marriage, anything, they show up and they hold up their signs and they borrow people. And I imagine usually people just like flip them off or argue with them. But this was just a gathering of people who have been training for this their whole lives. Right. I feel like this was their version of walking into the Gracie's living room and being like, hey, any of you tiny Chinese guys want to fight? Huh? You all look real little. Yeah, tell you what, you gotta start with my arm in between your legs.
That's why all of the fucking clips you're hearing cut off so early, because like within like 6-7 seconds of Eli fucking with him, there's like 400 people gathering around, like holding their phones out. Did you need that Bible passage right there? It's Mark 3:21 right there. I got it for you, bro.
And the cops keep coming over and going, you have to leave the atheists alone. And the atheists keep going, no, we're not done with him. We're not. You don't let him leave. Get back here with your little pamphlet.
All right, and then, of course, at number 3, I learned that I'm a fornicator, a fag, a sodomite, a masturbator. Actually, I called that a heathen, a devil, an idiot, immoral, that I'll never understand love, and that I deserve the eternity and hellfire that I'm going to be awarded upon my earthly demise.
Yeah, I also got your dick's going to fall off.
Oh,
nice cleavage, but like sarcastically, which is absurd. I have great cleavage. And also... You smell like rotting Cheetos and buffalo wings. No.
Yeah, but I was just honestly pointing that out. I didn't mean it as an insult.
I kind of took it that way. I'm just saying.
My bad. Okay. I swear, though, like every Christian protester that we spoke with, we asked them, why are you here? And without exception, they would either say to spread the gospel or to share God's love. But then you get to talking to them, and the only thing they want to talk about is how melty your soul's death skin is going to be in the afterlife. I feel pretty comfortable at this point saying the only reason Christian protesters show up at something like this is because it feels really good to put yourself on a pedestal above other people.
Yeah, Blumpkins are the best. Absolutely. Anyway, at number
Google
2,
Blumpkin. Google
I learned
Blumpkin.
that Anna and I share a similar fantasy that involves Eli and Kevin Spacey naked on a bed, sprinkled with rose petals and seasoned French fries. Actually, can't remember how the conversation naturally arrived at this point, but it did. Fun times. Yeah.
Okay, nobody knew fucked me at Reason Rally. Sorry,
Just clarify.
Another great visual for you to go to bed to tonight.
And number 1,
And you knew this was going to be number one.
Yeah. Ray Comfort tastes like someone came on a sandalwood shoehorn. Okay. So for those who, I am insulted. For those who haven't seen the picture, check out my Twitter or Facebook or, the inside of my eyelids or whatever, because that is 1 second before I licked him. I did lick him. So what happened is I went up to Anna, I gave Anna my camera, and I was like, take the picture right before I lick him. I don't know how he's going to react. So she took the picture that you can see, and then I licked him really hard on the face, and he sort of went like, give it a give. And I was like, oh, sorry, my cheek's wet. And we had this moment where he totally knew I licked him, but in order for us to recognize it, neither of us wanted what happened next. So I just hugged him and held him until his tiny little raptor hands fought me off. And now I can die in peace. My point is, now I can die in peace.
And by the way, definitely take a second and look at the fucking picture. If there is such a facial expression as this motherfucker's going to lick me, isn't he? Ray Comfort is very clearly wearing it. I have never seen a person so clearly aware he's engaged in a photograph that he's going to regret. So, with a big thanks to everybody who made it out, everybody who took the time to tell us how much they appreciate the show, and everybody who worked their asses off to make the event a success, we're going to stop making the vast majority of you feel even worse for having missed it. But next one's in 2020, folks. Start scheduling early for it this time.